In the beginning, according to Egyptian mythology, the universe was an immense primordial ocean called Nun. From this initial chaos, a hill emerged, and from it was born Ra, the god of the sun, bringing light and order to the world. With his power, Ra created the first gods, Shu, the air, and Tefnut, the moisture. Together they gave rise to Geb, the earth, and Nut, the sky, which were separated so that the world could exist. From this celestial union, 4 children were born who would form the basis of all Egyptian mythology: Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys. Osiris, the eldest, became the first divine pharaoh, ruling Egypt with justice and wisdom. He brought essential knowledge to humans, such as agriculture and laws, teaching them to live in harmony. Isis, his wife and sister, was the goddess of magic and motherhood, revered for her intelligence and dedication. Together they were worshipped as the perfect sovereigns, but not everyone was happy with this order. Seth, Osiris's brother, deeply envied his power. Unlike Osiris, who symbolized prosperity and life, Seth was associated with chaos, storms, and destruction. Driven by jealousy, he devised a cruel plan to seize the throne. He created a magnificent sarcophagus, perfectly adjusted to Osiris' measurements, and, during a great banquet, declared that the gift would be given to whoever could fit inside it exactly. Naively, Osiris accepted the challenge, and, as soon as he lay down in the sarcophagus, Seth and his followers sealed the lid and threw him into the river Nile, leaving him at the mercy of the waters. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps bring more content like this. And tell me in the comments which Egyptian god you want to see next. In despair, Isis set off on a tireless search for the body of her beloved husband. After a long journey, she found the sarcophagus stuck in a tree in the city of Byblos. With her magic, she managed to recover the body and take it back to Egypt, but Seth would not give up so easily. On discovering Osiris' return, Seth tore him into 14 pieces and scattered his remains all over Egypt, determined to prevent any chance of resurrection. Even in the face of this cruelty, Isis didn't give up. With the help of her sister Nephthys and the wise god Thoth, she traveled the length and breadth of Egypt, collecting every piece of Osiris' body. Only one part could not be recovered: his phallus, which had been devoured by a fish. Using her powerful magic, Isis rebuilt her husband's body and, through a spell, conceived their son, Horus, the rightful heir to the throne. Osiris, however, could no longer remain in the world of the living. His destiny now lay in the underworld, where he became Lord of the Duat, the realm of the dead. There he began to judge incoming souls, deciding who was worthy of eternal life and who should be devoured by the monstrous Ammit. Thus, even though he was dead, Osiris maintained his importance as one of Egypt's most revered gods. Meanwhile, Horus grew up under the protection of Isis, who hid him in the swamps of the Nile Delta to protect him from Seth's fury. When he reached adulthood, Horus challenged his uncle for the throne, sparking a long and fierce battle between the two. The gods gathered to judge the dispute, and the fight between Horus and Seth lasted for years. During one of these battles, Seth gouged out one of Horus's eyes, which was later restored by Thoth. This eye, called the Eye of Horus, became a powerful symbol of protection and healing in Egyptian culture. After many trials and battles, the gods decided that Horus was the rightful heir to the throne of Osiris. Seth was exiled to the desert, becoming the god of storms and arid lands. With Horus ruling Egypt, order was re-established, and so began the lineage of the pharaohs, considered to be direct descendants of the falcon god. The story of Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Horus is not just a mythical tale of deities, but also a reflection of the cycles of nature and Egyptian society itself. Osiris represented fertility and renewal, as did the Nile, which brought life to Egypt with its annual floods. Seth, on the other hand, symbolized chaos and destruction, natural forces that were also part of the balance of the universe. By defeating Seth, Horus showed the constant struggle between order and chaos, an eternal battle present both in mythology and in the reality of the Egyptians. This myth also reinforced the importance of death and the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that, just as Osiris was reborn in the underworld, all souls could achieve immortality, provided they passed divine judgment and had a pure heart. The story of Isis and Osiris taught that justice, loyalty, and true love were fundamental values, even capable of overcoming death itself. Even after millennia, the myth of Osiris continues to fascinate and inspire, being one of the richest and most symbolic narratives in Egyptian mythology. It reflects not only the religious beliefs of ancient Egypt, but also the challenges of humanity in its eternal search for justice, balance, and renewal. Anubis, the jackal-headed god, is one of the most enigmatic and revered figures in Egyptian mythology. His role has always been associated with death and the transition to the afterlife, but over the centuries his attributions have changed. At first he was the absolute lord of the underworld, but this role was later taken over by Osiris. However, Anubis continued to play a fundamental role, becoming the god of embalming, funeral rituals, and the protector of tombs and necropolises. The Egyptians believed that death was not an end, but a passage to another form of existence. To ensure this transition, the preservation of the body was essential, and Anubis was responsible for guiding and protecting souls on this path. Another fascinating goddess from the Egyptian pantheon is Bastet, often depicted with the head of a cat and the body of a woman. Bastet symbolized protection, fertility, and maternal love, as well as being a goddess linked to pleasure and music. The Egyptians had a special reverence for cats, as these animals protected homes and granaries from rats and poisonous snakes. Bastet's connection with cats meant that these animals were considered sacred. Killing a cat, even accidentally, was a very serious crime in ancient Egypt, and the person responsible could be punished with death. Many cats were treated as true members of Egyptian families, and when they died, their owners would shave their eyebrows as a sign of mourning. In addition, cats were often mummified and buried in special cemeteries dedicated to them. During the day, Bastet was a benevolent goddess, linked to gentleness and protection, but at nightfall she became a fierce warrior. Some legends suggest that Bastet and Sekhmet were actually two faces of the same entity, with Bastet being the docile form and Sekhmet the destructive and bloodthirsty version. In other accounts, both were sisters, daughters of the powerful sun god Ra. Another great pillar of Egyptian mythology is Thoth, the god of wisdom and knowledge. Depicted with the head of an ibis or, in some versions, a baboon, Thoth was considered the patron of scribes and the creator of writing. It was he who taught the Egyptians how to record events, calculate measurements, and interpret the stars. Thoth was responsible for writing down the laws and preserving sacred knowledge. His role was so important that he was also considered the god of time, as he was the creator of the first Egyptian calendar, based on lunar cycles. In addition, he played a crucial role in the judgment of the dead, writing down the results of the weighing of the heart carried out by Anubis. As the guardian of truth, he was the husband of Mat, the goddess of justice and order. With the arrival of the Greeks in Egypt, Thoth was associated with Hermes, the messenger god. This fusion resulted in the creation of the figure of Hermes Trismegistus, a deity linked to esoteric knowledge, Hermetic philosophy, and alchemy. The main city where Thoth was worshipped was Hermopolis, an important center of knowledge where there was one of the largest libraries in the ancient world. The Egyptian deities, with their rich and intriguing myths, helped the ancients to understand the mysteries of life, death, and the universe. Even after millennia, their stories continue to fascinate and inspire those who seek to understand the past and the spiritual legacy of one of humanity's most extraordinary civilizations. Did you like the video? Then hit the like button and subscribe for more content on Egyptian mythology. Comment below which god you want in the next episode. And speaking of that, click on the next video and keep exploring the mysteries of ancient Egypt. See you there!